Have you ever lived in an apartment or worked in a shared office, gotten your energy bill, and just stared at it thinking, where on earth did they get this number? Especially for heating and cooling, it often feels like a complete mystery, just some arbitrary estimate. Well, today, we're going to decode that mystery. We're diving into the tech that is making energy billing fair, accurate, and totally transparent.
So let's just ask the question straight up. That energy bill you pay for your heating and air conditioning, is it actually based on what you used? Or is it really just a sophisticated guess? For millions of us in shared buildings, the answer, unfortunately, is that it's just a guess.
And this really lays out the two completely different worlds of billing. On one side, you've got the old way, estimated billing. It's arbitrary, often inaccurate, and let's be honest, potentially really unfair. But on the other side, you have billing based on actual use. And that's precise, it's transparent, and it's fair. It's really the difference between a mystery number and a clear, honest statement.
So let's dig into the core of the problem here, the unfair energy bill. When building managers use an estimated system, they might do something like divide the total building energy cost by square footage. But think about that. That means the person who loves to keep their apartment like an icebox all summer pays the exact same as the person who's barely ever there. You could literally be paying for your neighbor's energy habits without even knowing it.
This right here is the simple but honestly revolutionary idea that fixes the whole problem. Just imagine it, a world where your HVAC bill perfectly reflects your choices, the temperature you set, the hours you're home. That's the promise we're going to unpack.
Okay, so how do we actually fix this? It's not magic. It's actually a really smart combination of a complete control system and some very clever software. The goal is super simple. Replace all that guesswork with hard data. It's all about creating a smarter and way fairer way to track and bill for energy.
Now, the core concept has a technical-sounding name, but I promise it's easy. It's called energy apportioning. All it means is that the system measures the building's total energy use for heating and cooling, and then it precisely divides, or apportions, that total. It assigns every single tenant their exact share based on exactly how much they used. No more guesswork.
So you might be wondering, how does the system actually track all of this? It's a pretty fascinating flow of information, really. It goes from that big unit outside the building all the way to a piece of software on a computer. So let's follow that path and see how it all connects.
You know what? I love this analogy. Think of the building's total energy use as one giant pizza. The old method was like showing up after the party, seeing an empty box and just guessing who ate what. This new software, though, it's like having a high-speed camera on that pizza the entire time. It knows exactly who took each slice and even when they took it.
Okay, here's how it actually works, in 4 basic steps. First, the big outdoor unit, the compressor, uses electricity to make things hot or cold. Simple enough. Second, a watt meter is attached to that unit and it measures the total power being used. Third, inside your own apartment, your indoor unit calls for heating or cooling by controlling the flow of a refrigerant. And fourth, and this is the real aha moment, the software is watching that refrigerant flow to every single indoor unit. It knows that the more refrigerant your unit demands, the harder the outdoor unit has to work. By tracking every unit's demand in real time, it can create a perfect pie chart of who's using what percentage of the total power. It's brilliant.
This kind of system really has 3 core functions, or you could call them superpowers, that all work together to make the whole process fair and transparent.
So superpower number 1 is energy apportionment, which we've been talking about. This is the system's main job, its whole reason for being, to slice up that total energy usage with pinpoint accuracy, so every single person gets billed for exactly what they used. No more, no less. The second superpower is energy management. You see, the system doesn't just crunch numbers in the dark. It actually visualizes all that data. It puts the power usage into these clear graphical charts, which makes it super easy for a building manager to spot trends and monitor everything at a glance.
And the third superpower is billing support. This is where the data becomes real action. The software takes all that perfectly apportioned data and automatically calculates a bill for each tenant. It turns those abstract kilowatt hours into actual dollars and cents.
So we have all of this incredibly precise data. That's great, but what does it actually mean for the real people involved? This is where we see how this tracking technology turns data directly into dollars, into control, and into convenience. For tenants, people like you and me, the benefits are just huge. First off, you get direct control over your own costs. If you want to save some cash, you can just turn down the AC a bit and you'll actually see the results on your bill. It completely gets rid of those unfair estimated charges, and you get total control over your own temperature. Plus, as a nice little bonus,
These modern systems are super quiet.
And hey, it's not just great for tenants. Building owners and managers get a ton of perks too. The software makes it incredibly easy to handle people moving in and out. They can program common areas like hallways and gyms to save energy. They get access to all this trend data for smarter management. And they can even customize the billing statements with their own logos. It just makes the whole operation more efficient and professional.
You know, this quote just nails the whole shift perfectly. We're moving away from an arbitrary guess to accountable, actual use. And that's not just a technical upgrade. It's a completely different philosophy of how we manage shared resources.
And here's a really cool side effect. It's not always just about sending out bills. Some buildings use this exact software to build a sense of community and environmental awareness. They'll hold green building contests to see which tenant or which floor can save the most energy, turning conservation into a fun, collaborative game. How cool is that?
So when you really zoom out and think about it, this technology is so much more than just a tool for HVAC systems. It really points toward a future where our consumption of all shared resources is measured fairly and transparently.
Let's just break it down one last time, side by side. The old way's accuracy? A guess. The new way? A precise measurement. For fairness, we go from arbitrary to being based on actual use. For control, you go from having none to having full control over your costs. And for data, you go from having nothing to having rich, accessible data. I mean, it is a clear win in every single category.
At the end of the day, the crucial point is this. This technology is really all about transparency. It demystifies a common and often frustrating household expense. It gives control back to tenants, and it gives better tools to building managers. It just creates a system that's fair and accountable for everyone.
And that kind of leaves us with one big, final question to chew on. This principle of precise, fair, and transparent measurement is incredibly powerful. So just think, what if every single resource we shared, from water in a city to bandwidth in an office, was measured this fairly? What other parts of our lives could be totally transformed?